Teresa, would you please take us live after you tell us who's not here? Oh, we're live. Okay. Hey, hi, everyone. Welcome to Ag Subcommittee for the Environment and Transportation Committee of the House. It's March 30th. We have some bills on the agenda today. We're going to start with Senate Bill 200. This is the organized hunting contest. You probably remember this as one that we passed out of the House last year. A person may not sponsor, conduct, or participate in a contest organized in the state that has the objective of killing a coyote, fox, or raccoon for prizes or monetary awards. Let me hand it over to the House sponsor. I think he's got a suggestion for how to handle the penalties.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Senate amended the penalties to increase them to $100 per violation. They had been at $25 in the original bill, $25 per violation. And then the Senate has amended. That's how the Senate bill came over, SB 200, and then the Senate's amended my cross file. So I would propose to accept the Senate amendment.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Well, how many people do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 delegates. I know Sheila Ruth was concerned about a conflict. Who are we missing, Teresa?
Melissa Wells, Delegate Otto,
Delegate Clark.
and
Delegate Clark.
and I'm letting in Delegate Otto right now. So yeah, we're missing Delegate Clark and Delegate Wells.
Delegate
Ruth.
Okay, I'm just going to text Delegate Wells. Is there, Charles, did you join us? Charles?
Yes.
Okay. We're on the organized hunting contest. And
Okay.
so the motion is favorable on the bill because we're working on the Senate bill. And we don't want to have a problem vote because we don't have enough people here. Is anyone going to object to this bill?
Is the wording the same as what we passed?
It's close. It's $100 fine per animal in this version.
But it's still pretty much coyotes.
Everything else is the same.
Yeah. Now, we passed it last year, I thought, too.
Well,
Well, last year we did a lot of work on it. Delegate Jacobs?
So, Delegate Otto, you came in late, but the Senate bill came over increasing the fine from $25 to $100. Delegate Stein, before you got on here, said he would accept the Senate, I guess the Senate amendment, and they changed the House bill in the Senate, you say?
Yes, Delegate. In the Senate, they have already amended my bill to increase the penalty as well.
Yeah, so is that per animal or is that per case?
No, it's per animal.
From 25 to 100.
And it
That's
is worth
correct.
noting in most other states that have these fines, it's 1,000. In one of the states, it's 4,000. So although I do acknowledge that the fine has increased, it's still comparatively very low compared to a lot of other states.
And it was 25 last year.
That's correct.
Okay, well, we don't want to have a problem vote because we don't have enough people here. So let me know if if you have an objection before we vote.
No, I'd
I have
rather
a
see it in
question.
25, but that's what we had agreed.
Yeah, I was more in favor in the bill that I voted for early with 25. You know, that's a huge jump.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah,
I'm a little confused about this per animal charge. How do you count for the number of animals and who pays it? The organizer or anyone participating?
sorry, Delegate Delisle, your question is what?
My question
Chair.
was, this, whether it's a $25 charge or a $100 charge, it's animal. So my question was, is it the total number of animals that are killed in the contest? And how do you come to that number? And the second, my question, more important question was, who pays for it? Is it just the organizer or anyone who's participating in the contest?
Well, how many? You just count the carcasses. In terms of who's liable, the prohibition is against anyone sponsoring, conducting, or participating in a contest organized in the state. So any of
So
them.
you're multiplying that fine significantly then if they're,
So if there are, let's say, 10 animals which got killed, would it be $1,000 distributed among everyone who's involved and the participants, or is it per person?
Wouldn't be distributed. If you participated, you would be liable for any animal you killed. If you conducted it, you would be liable for all animals.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think we have Delegate Lehman, then Delegate Jacobs.
You know, there need to be strong deterrents in this law. I respect those who say, oh, $100 is 4 times what the original 25 was. If it were up to me, I'd make it $500 to $1,000 per animal. I mean, this is really, clear what this law says. It now says these contests are banned. There has to be a meaningful consequence. There has to be a price. We're seeing in the chat in Vermont, the fines are $400 to $1,000. Washington State, $500. New Mexico, up to $1,000. $100 is, in my view, is a pittance. And if you don't make it meaningful, if this bill does not, the law doesn't have any teeth in it, people are going to continue to have these contests anyway, and they are gruesome. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair.
I think Delegate Jacobs was next, and then we'll go back to Delegate Delisle.
All right, so Delegate Delisle brought up a good point, and so Patrick, just for clarification, so let's say there's 15 people and an organizer that did this under the scenario of this bill as proposed with $100 fine. Would that mean that all persons, all of those people I just mentioned would all be charged with that same amount?
I would argue that for certain, a person who sponsors or conducts would be liable for all animals killed.
Yeah, and then say you had 10 people participating. This is all hypothetical, So would all 10 of those people be liable with the same amount of fine?
It's a little vague on that. It says that, and we're talking about just participants here, correct?
Yes. Well, I think Delegate Delisle brought up a good point, that is who's liable for these charges is, I didn't look at it that way when I voted on it earlier. That's why I'm questioning now that I thought it was really the organizer and the contest, but I just want to make certain, is this, even if you didn't kill any of the animals, but you were participating in the hypothetical contest, would all the people that were there be charged?
Well, again, definitely the sponsor and, or the conductor.
Yeah, and participants.
And the participant, I think it could be interpreted that the participant is liable for all. Or it could be interpreted that a participant is liable for just those they killed, but that's probably difficult to ascertain. Yeah, I would say a participant could be charged with all of them.
Okay.
Um,
And that really is part of my concern with this increase as well. You know, I voted for the point of the bill. I don't disagree with, but I just think that this is a huge jump from what we voted on last year and what we voted on out of the House committee.
Delegate Jalisi, then Delegate Lehman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My question was, do we have this law in any of the states that are around Maryland? I know somebody mentioned Vermont and Washington, but do Pennsylvania, Delaware, Virginia, any of the states that border Maryland have the same law?
Let's see in the chat, one of the advocates says Pennsylvania is working on this via administrative order.
The Northeast states where this is an occurring practice, there are either active bills or active administrative regulatory efforts underway to create the same prohibition. Out of all the Northeast states, Pennsylvania is the one with the most active killing contests. They're looking to do it administratively. I do not know about Virginia. Their session ended. So I would have to double check about them.
What about further up towards the north, like Connecticut, New York? Do they have this law on their books?
Let me double check really quickly how many have actually passed. I know that it is, again, under consideration in most of the Northeast states because it's such a sort of barbaric practice. Let me verify while the committee is meeting which states have it currently.
Okay. Mr. Chair, can we move on to the next bill until she gets the information for us?
Well, Delegate Lehman's got her hand up.
Mr. Chairman, I believe that that amendment, Mr. Tracy, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the amendment increasing the fine from $25 to $100 was offered by a Republican. I think it was Senator Simon Ayer's amendment to the bill. Is that correct?
That is
Yes.
correct. Senator Simon Ayer, and he served as floor leader because with that amendment both times.
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you.
And Senator Hershey, there were there was bipartisan support for it. Senator Jennings.
Is everyone here?
Ruth and Clark are missing.
Okay. We don't want to have a mistaken vote. Who is supporting it? Just so we know if we can vote. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we better hold it. Okay, we'll hold it.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
Support should not decide the fate of the bill.
What?
If there is not enough support, you should. Okay, I better be quiet.
Okay, let's move on to Senate Bill.
Hey, hold on before you move on. Delegate Gilchrist, when you ask support of are you asking support of the bill or support of the amendment?
Well,
Because I voted for the bill early. I voted last year and I voted this year on the House bill, but I didn't vote on a $100 amendment.
well, the
And
bill in
that's
front
my
of us.
concern. My concern is that jump from 25 to 100.
Yeah, the Senate.
So everybody's clear. I'm not, I have not voted against that bill.
The Senate bill that's in front of us has the $100 in it already. So we would have to, if we wanted to change it, we'd have to amend that out.
Well,
So-
there's more of us than it is of them.
So we're going to hold it, and And I see Delegate Stein is on the phone figuring things out already.
And just to be able to answer the delegate's question, Massachusetts and Vermont have already passed the ban. New Jersey and New York have legislation this session. And Virginia, as I understand my email, is considering it through administrative action. So it is quite widespread throughout the region.
Okay, let's go on to Senate Bill 343. This is the shrimp fishery bill. It's a departmental from Natural Resources.
Move favorable.
Second.
Senate Bill 343, basically, you may not catch shrimp for commercial purposes unless you obtain a license. We have a favorable and a second motion. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay, Senate Bill 343 passes. Patrick, let's move on to Senate Bill 350. Patrick, can you tell us about Senate Bill 350? This is also a departmental bill.
Yeah, this bill does two things. Mainly, it establishes enterprise leases for cultivating plant species in the bay. I think it's limited to 2 acres. Correct me if I'm wrong, James. And as much of the same standards as we do for other leases. And then it repeals the aquaculture enterprise zone leases, which even though they exist in the law, they don't exist in reality. They haven't for a long time. So the department's just getting them off the books. I did have one technical amendment I wanted to recommend. It's just the amendments to the bill on the Senate side had a cross-reference to a definition that made it applicable here. And the same thing probably should be done elsewhere in the bill to the same section, different definitions.
I'll move the technical amendments.
Second.
All those in
Second.
favor of technical amendments?
Aye.
All right. On the bill with the technical amendments, any discussion?
Move favorable.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Senate Bill 350 passes with the technical amendments. Okay, this brings us to Senate Bill 442, which is cross-filed with House Bill 799. This, the House bill had been held as a work group task force bill. It turns out there are, in fact, no legislators on this, and this would be up to the Aquaculture Coordinating Council to look at it. Patrick, do you want to just give us an overview of this bill?
Yeah, it just requires the Aquaculture Coordinating Council, as you said, in coordination with the Department of the Environment to study the conflict issues between aquaculture and the requirements to obtain licenses and permits for activity on the waters of the state wetlands. There is also a technical amendment here that was actually suggested by EHE. They thought the language could be a little tighter. Therese, if you could put that up for Senate Bill 442, she sent it out in the email. All the amendment does and is on page 2, line 27, it refers to the state and tidal wetlands license or permit, adding the word state and license. The purpose being is that will get to all of the wetlands where there might be aquaculture. And EHE has approved they're going to take it, and I've run it by department. They're fine with it. It's just really kind of technical to make sure we get the right language.
I'll move that amendment. Do I have a second? Delegate Jalisi?
Second.
All those in favor of the amendment? Aye. And
Aye.
any opposed? Okay, the bill as amended. This is Senate Bill 442, and then we'll do the exact same thing for House Bill 799 right after that. Senate Bill 442 as amended. All those in favor?
Wait a minute.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Delegate, oh, I'm sorry. I'm Delegate Lehman, then Delegate Jacobs.
Mr. Chair, I did not mean to still have my hand up from the previous bill. However, I am getting a little bit lost as to which bill we're on and whether we're on an amendment right now or the underlying bill.
We're on Senate Bill 442.
Okay, and is there an amendment with that as well?
And we did just amend it.
We just voted on the amendment. Now you're looking for a vote on the bill. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
Delegate Jacobs?
All right, so Patrick, now that we've gotten to this point, and this is just a study, who under, with all the amendments, who is participating in the study?
Well, the Aquaculture Coordinating Council is running the study, and they're required to consult with MDE.
Right.
So nobody else outside, no legislators.
So who's conducting the study? Just the Aquaculture Coordinating Council is what you're saying?
Correct.
But we don't know who that is, other than, I mean, who their members are going to be that are part of it.
Well, it's an existing body.
Right, I understand that.
Yeah.
But there's no representative from the legislature, and there's no Waterman
Nope.
group.
Nope. Although
Actually,
Larry Jennings or Dick James would know.
yeah, so there actually are two legislative members of the Aquaculture Coordinating Council.
Oh, right.
Right. So that would be Delegate Mouts, and I believe it's still Senator Klausmeyer
Okay,
who are on there. They're talking about Waterman Group. Yeah, I mean, obviously Watermen are involved. Actually, MDE has a representative on the group. They're with the Shellfish Sanitation Program, not so much this permitting side. So there's a broad swath, regional participation, Farm Bureau. And I know Larry is a frequent flyer as a public attendee. So it's a good group and very diverse, and I think an adequate body to look at this.
all right, so I see Larry on there. I want to make sure he gets his money's worth today. Is your amendment satisfied? I know you came in, CCA came in for an amendment. Are you satisfied with?
Yes, we're very pleased with it and think the work group is really the place to dig out all of the issues that MDE has, because none of them are environmental, so we don't know what they or the growers and watermen might see as potential future areas where, new technology comes out or they need something different in marketing. What else could be on a dock or needs to be approved for a dock situation? Particularly in the case of true Chesapeake oysters, where their dock is like 300 feet from the shoreline.
All right, thank you. My question's been answered.
Okay, so we have the bill before us with the amendment. Patrick, was this the one that we did the amendment?
Yes, you did the amendment.
Okay, the bill's before us. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that was Senate Bill 442. Now what we'll do is we'll handle the House cross-file, House Bill 799. Could I get a motion that?
I'd say we move favorable with the
Senate bill we
same,
just did?
I'd say we move favorable with the same posture as the Senate Bill 442.
I'll second the motion. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
You want to vote on the
Aye.
amendments?
Oh, we're voting on the amendments. We're voting on the amendments. Okay, on the amendments, all those in favor, aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, the bill before us, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right, all those in favor, aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, so those both pass as amended in identical form. Okay, we're going to go back to Senate Bill 200, which we held earlier. Apparently, the sponsor has an agreement.
Yes, I'd like to, Mr. Chairman, withdraw my favorable motion for SB 200. Instead, propose an amendment changing the fine back to $25 per violation.
Second.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of the amendment say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, amendment passes. Okay, the bill now before us, Senate Bill 200 as amended with the way the House passed it earlier this year. Are we ready to
So
vote on this, Delegate Stein?
So moved.
There we go.
Second.
Second.
All right, any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, Senate Bill 200 passes in the form that the House passed it earlier. Okay, the last bill under Patrick's area, and what time we're at, 1:28, is House Bill 1134. This is the Natural Resources Fishing and Hunting Bill. Patrick, would you tell us about this bill?
Well, the bill just sets in statute stating that the hunting and fishing are valued parts of the state's culture and social heritage, and provide unique recreational benefits, and hunting and fishing play important parts in the state's economy and support conservation, preservation, and management. That's the bill.
Any discussion? Delegate Stein?
I was just going to say, I'd like to move the bill.
Second.
Delegate Lehman?
I have questions about this bill. I don't remember a history of this, whether it's been introduced in prior sessions and what exactly it means, but this committee would not even support an environmental bill of rights, the right of the people of this state to breathe clean air and have clean water. What is the need for this? I'm not even clear. I've read the bill. I'm not clear on what this bill does, what it accomplishes, what the purpose of it is. I have concerns about it. Sounds, innocent enough on its face, but I don't understand the implications of it, the legal implications of it. I mean, when you think of hunting and fishing and how regulated those activities are, how fisheries get opened and closed based on population and disease and all kinds of other things. I mean, are people going to use this law as a tool to say, I have an inalienable right to hunt and fish in this state? I don't have an understanding of what this is about.
This is just findings of the General Assembly. It has no practical effect.
So you're saying this is not binding in any way, Patrick?
No, the fisheries and hunting will continue to be regulated as they have been.
Well, I realize that. Look, I'm not suggesting they won't be regulated anymore. I just want to know what other legal implications there are of it. If it has no meaning, I'm not saying this disrespectfully to you, Patrick. I'm saying it rhetorically. If it has no meaning, somebody would not be putting it forward. So I do take issue with that. There'd be no point in putting this forward if there's no purpose to it, that it has no basis for anything. Why would we do it? It's not a resolution, right? It's a law. Am I correct? It's not a resolution.
It's stating the intent of the General Assembly,
Okay, but it's not a resolution.
or finding of the General Assembly, I should say. It is not a resolution. That is correct.
It's not a resolution. It's a statute. It would be in
It is.
statute. I just don't can you tell us if there's a precedent for this? Do other states have this? Have we ever looked at doing this before? And it didn't go anywhere? What is the history of this bill?
Well, the only thing I can speak to, I'm sure there's probably somewhere in the code that has something like this. There's, findings of the General Assembly all over the place. But this
On
did
hunting and
have this bill last year. It was a Senate bill. And it was before our committee and it got co-voted, if you will. I don't know if the committee would have passed it last year or not, but it was right at the end. So now we have a House bill, and that's what it is. And I see no effect that this has on anything outside.
Again, you know,
Four
I guess.
corners of this bill.
Right, and I would just say to that, only the sponsor could answer that question. If it has no effect, why is he putting it forward? So I'm going to oppose the bill.
Okay, I have Delegate Jacobs and Delegate McKitt, and then James McKittrick from DNR.
All right. Delegate Lehman, did you get the letter from Maryland Legislative Sportsmen's Caucus?
I'm not sure whether I did or not.
Okay, because it really does explain this bill very well. There are 23 other states that have recognized the rights of their citizens to fish and hunt. So there are 23 other states that have done this. And in the letter, and I'll be glad to give you a copy, my copy, if you haven't gotten one, really does explain, the reasoning that the caucus really initiated this. And that's a bipartisan caucus. It's both our representatives. It's, the House has a Democrat and the Senate has a Republican. And so it's a bipartisan bill. I'll be glad to share this copy of the letter if you didn't get one.
Thank you.
But
Thank you, Delegate Jacobs. And I thank you for that. And I do respect that you are a very responsible hunter and fisherman. However, I'm skeptical about this bill, and I don't want to see it, bill to become statute. If it's just a sense of the General Assembly, it should be a resolution. And I would hate like heck for this to be used once it becomes law to supersede any hunting or fishing regulations. That's how I feel. But thank you for the offer, and I will look at
okay,
that.
no problem. Thank you.
All right, any more discussion on this? Delegate Stein, did you move the bill?
I did.
Do we have a second?
Yes, Delegate Jacobs did.
Okay. I think my computer's starting to get a little iffy. All right, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, bill passes. And, okay, Patrick, is that it for your bills?
It's me. I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Patrick. Let's say hello to Kristen.
Oh,
Hi. Okay, so Kristen, we have for you two bills on the agenda. The first is Senate Bill 344. Senate Bill 344, and somebody from Department of Agriculture is here. It's a Department of Agriculture departmental bill concerning the cost sharing program. Kristen, would you explain the bill to us, please?
sure. It does. It increases the state cost sharing for agricultural best management practices. Under current law, the statutory cap is set at 87.5% of eligible costs that can be funded. This bill would increase that to 100% of eligible costs to be funded.
There's a sunset on this?
Yes, the Senate did add a sunset to this. It is a 5-year sunset. So June 30th, 2026 is the sunset date.
Any discussion on this bill? Any motion on this bill?
Can I just get an idea of what costs are we talking about that are going to be shared?
Maybe we ought to Who would you like to direct your question to, Delegate?
Kristen, what costs are we sharing? And I'm sorry if it's
So these are for projects, capital projects that are implementing best management practices on ag lands. The Chesapeake Bay Foundation submitted a list. So this isn't directly from the Department of Ag, but it's in their conversations with Department of Ag. And there's a list of a variety of best management practices from buffers and wetland restoration. There's just a number of practices that would be put in place to control sediment, nutrient pollution.
Is there a fiscal note to it?
No, this is all money that's already in the program, so it just could redirect it to other projects, but it's not increasing.
Thank you.
Delegate Stein?
It's on mute. Delegate Stein, you're on mute.
Thank you. I missed the bill hearing, so perhaps this was addressed there. And I guess this question is for the department. Is there any risk that by increasing the percentage, you'll be crowding out applications because fewer, but theoretically fewer could get funded?
No, there's no concern with that. There's adequate funding in the program. And these practices that we're talking about, they are less utilized, but we know that they will be better to help us to meet our 2025 WIP goals, but we have no concerns.
Okay.
Do we have a motion on this bill?
Move favorable.
I'll second.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed to this? None opposed. Okay. Senate Bill 344 passes. That brings us to the last bill on the program, Senate Bill 352. This is the Multiflora Rosa bill. These provisions were enacted in, if I'm reading my code correctly, 1982. There's been no amendments to them since. This is a Department of Ag departmental bill. They said that they haven't had an issue with this in 20, 25, 30 years. Any discussion on this?
Move favorable.
Second.
All those in
Second.
favor of the bill? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, bill passes. Kristen, is that it for your bills?
That is it.
All right, everybody, thank you. Teresa, you can take us offline.